For my reaction when my estranged parents demanded my house for my sister? My name is Jenna and I was 22 years old when it all started. I had just graduated from college with a degree in design, and to be honest, it still surprises me that I achieved it because I paid for most of it myself. I was still living in the house where I grew up in the San Fernando Valley area of Los Angeles with my mom Teresa and my stepfather Greg. For a long time that house felt more like a place where I slept than a home. My mom married Greg 7 years ago when I was 15. He arrived with his daughter Brittany. She is 4 years older than me. Now she is 26 and has been living with her boyfriend Adam for a while. Well, living with him in quotes because they are constantly coming over to the house. They almost always drop by to have dinner, hang out, and talk about their plans. In photos, we look like a really beautiful family, the kind people show off on social media. In reality, everything is much more awkward. When Greg moved in, my mom put in effort as if her life depended on it. She wanted him and Brittany to feel welcome. And she succeeded. Yes, except the cost was that I became the odd one out. Brittany got the big bedroom, the one with the best light, the one facing the backyard. They left me the smallest one with the excuse of, "You do not need that much space." Then the garage where I used to do my schoolwork, my architectural models, my drawings became a storage room for Greg's things, his tools, his boxes, his important stuff. And suddenly every conversation in the house revolved around the same thing, making sure the new family was comfortable. I tried to understand. Blended families are not easy, but at some point I started to feel like a guest in my own house. The clearest difference was college. They paid for Brittany's entirely. Tuition, supplies, everything. When it was my turn, out of nowhere there were budget cuts. We do not have enough. You need to learn responsibility. I got a full scholarship for my grades because I had no other choice, but the books, the computer, the supplies, the printing costs, the commute, all of that fell on me. I had 2 part-time seasonal jobs and I still took freelance graphic design gigs whenever I could. I slept very little. Sometimes I went to bed with an empty stomach, but I never told them. 3 months ago, I started working at a design agency in downtown Los Angeles. It is my first formal job. I do not earn a whole lot, but it is a start. And from day one I opened a separate savings account on my banking app, a designated fund to save up and move out of the house. My parents know I am saving. I told them because I thought they would be glad, that they would say something like, "That is great, you are putting your plan together." But no, they started making weird comments. Last week my mom dropped a remark casually. "How nice, right? Living here and building up your little nest egg, as if you had no responsibilities." Greg chimed in later with that tone of someone giving a lecture. "At your age, I used to give my parents half my salary. I do give them money. I chip in for groceries, bills, internet. I do not play dumb, but it is never enough. And lately the hints are not so subtle anymore. That the house feels crowded, that it is time for everyone to go their own way, that an adult cannot stay with her parents forever. And I am on the inside calculating. Rent, security deposit, first month's rent, moving expenses, basic furniture. You do not save that up in 2 weeks with an entry-level weekday salary. Besides, commuting is exhausting. If I left the San Fernando Valley early, sometimes it took me 40 minutes to get to downtown Los Angeles. If I got caught in rush hour, it was over an hour. That is why I wanted to move out, not just because of the environment but also for my peace of mind and my time. That Wednesday I got home from work tired. It was already dark. As soon as I opened the door, I heard voices in the kitchen. Brittany and Adam were already there. They sounded excited like kids when they are promised something. I managed to hear fragments. Incredible opportunity. The perfect moment. This will not happen again. I thought they were talking about Adam's job or a random trip. I went upstairs to change, to wash my face, to shake the day off. I went downstairs about half an hour later, and they were already seated at the dining table. My mom had made the usual. Grilled chicken with rice and salad. Everyone seemed to be in a good mood. I sat down, served myself some vegetables, and then my mom cleared her throat with that gesture I already know. The one that means attention, announcement coming. "Jenna, we have some really beautiful news," she said and looked at Brittany smiling. Brittany looked like she could not contain herself in her chair. "We are going on our honeymoon next month," she blurted out, unable to hold it in. Adam proudly held up his cell phone. "I found an amazing package deal. Hotel 5 days 4 nights and it already includes a bunch of stuff. Where to? I asked, still keeping a friendly face. To Hawaii, Brittany said, as if she were trying to make me jealous on purpose. You know, the beach, relaxing, photos, everything. That is awesome, I answered sincerely. You guys deserve it. You have been working a lot. Adam nodded happily. It is going to be perfect. The only thing is, my mom shifted in her chair as if preparing herself. The total comes to around $9,000, Adam said. I felt like the chicken got stuck in my throat. $9,000. That was a huge amount. It was like several months of my salary without counting transportation and everything else. Wow, that is a lot, I said carefully so as not to sound mean. My mom's smile tightened. And that is exactly why we wanted to talk to you. Brittany leaned toward me with shining eyes. Look, the thing is we do not have it all together, we barely have a little, but you have been saving. I just stared at her. Excuse me. What? I managed to say. My mom continued as if she were proposing the most normal thing in the world. We thought that, well, as a family we support each other. Could you lend us that money for the trip? They will pay you back, of course, via bank transfer. And as they are able to. The table fell silent. The only sound was Adam's knife cutting his chicken as if nothing was happening. I looked at everyone. My mom with that say yes face. Greg looking at me as if he were evaluating whether I was going to behave. Brittany almost smiling prematurely. Adam barely looking up. Nobody reacted at first as if they had not heard me. I am not going to give you $9,000 for a trip, I repeated. That money is for me to move out of here. It is my savings for my apartment, for emergencies, for my future. It was not just a few months of savings. I had been saving since the last stretch of college, every extra job, every payment for a design, every dollar I could, because I knew that if I did not do it, nobody else would do it for me. Greg's face hardened. Your future, he said. And what about the family? The people who have given you everything all these years. Everything. The heat rushed to my face. Support me, I said, and I felt my voice come out louder than I wanted. Brittany got her entire college paid for. I did not. I killed myself for a scholarship. I worked and studied. I am scraping together every single penny, and on top of that I put money into this house. And the first thing you think of when you know I have savings is to ask me to hand it over for a honeymoon. It is their honeymoon, my mom said, now with a different tone. They have been together for 3 years. They deserve something special. Then they should save up for it, I replied. Just like I am saving up for my goals. Greg slammed his hand on the table and the plates jumped a little. So ungrateful, he blurted out. That is what you are, an ungrateful brat. My mom did not say anything to stop him. She just nodded as if what he was saying was the fair thing. I left my plate there almost untouched and went up to my room. While I was walking up the stairs, I heard them talking quietly, annoyed. I could not clearly make out the words, but the tone was crystal clear to me. That night I lay in bed staring at the ceiling with my heart racing. $9,000. They wanted me to hand it over as if it were nothing, as if those months of counting, cutting back, and enduring meant nothing, as if my dream of independence were just a whim. The next day nobody spoke to me. My mom, who previously always had coffee ready and asked how I was doing, did not even show up when I went downstairs. Just silence. The silent treatment lasted all week. 7 days of being invisible, of hearing laughter in the other room while I ate breakfast alone, of crossing paths with Greg and seeing him look at me with contempt, of feeling like I was in the way with every step. And right that week my birthday was just around the corner. Fell on a Friday. I am not one to throw big parties, but my mom always did something. Homemade cake, my favorite food, even if it was simple. That is why I clung to the idea that at least on my birthday they would tone it down. On Thursday night I ran into her in the hallway and said, half jokingly, half hoping for something, "Tomorrow is the day, huh?" She looked at me as if I were talking to her about a neighborhood meeting. What day? My birthday, I said. I am turning 23. Oh, she shrugged and walked away. Friday went by and they did not say anything. Not a happy birthday, not even a glance. I told myself, surely at night maybe they are preparing something. On my way back from work I bought a good chocolate cake, the kind you only buy when you really want to treat yourself. Cost me about $40. It hurt to pay it, but it was my birthday. I deserved something. I walked into the house with the box in my hands and heard voices in the dining room. Brittany and Adam. Again. I got a little excited. I thought, well, at least today they will. I walked in smiling. Hi. Look what I brought for dessert, I said and placed the box on the table. The conversation stopped dead. Everyone turned to look at me as if I had walked in with something entirely out of place. My mom was ice cold. And what exactly are we supposed to be celebrating? She asked. I felt the smile fall off my face. Well, my birthday. She made a dismissive gesture with her hand. And that is why you buy an expensive cake and expect us all to drop what we are doing? Brittany and Adam laughed. Not a slight giggle. They laughed out loud, as if I had said something incredibly foolish. I stood there not understanding. Did you guys seriously forget that it is my birthday? I asked. Greg leaned back in his chair with his arms crossed. We did not forget, he said. We remembered it until you decided that money was more important than family. Excuse me, I said, feeling a pit in my stomach. My mom reached into her purse and pulled out a white envelope. This was going to be your present, she said. She opened it and pulled out bills. She arranged them on the table so they could be clearly seen. $500 from your stepfather and me. I froze. $500 was not just pocket change, but my mom continued. And after your little stunt last week, after seeing clearly who you really are, we decided to give it to someone who actually deserves it. She slid the money toward Brittany. Brittany grabbed it with exaggerated excitement. Wow, well, thank you so much, really? She said, counting it quickly. With this, we finally have enough to reserve the package. We are still short like $8,000 or so, but it is progress. She started talking about the beach, the activities, the photos, the tours. I was not listening anymore. I felt a ringing in my ears as if I had gone deaf. Since you do not want to behave like part of the family, my mom continued, then we are not going to treat you like family. No special dinner, no cake, no present, nothing. I was still holding the cake box in my hand, feeling foolish like a little girl who shows up to the wrong party. We asked you for one single thing, Greg said. Just one, to support your sister, and not even that. It was not a single thing, I managed to say. It was a massive amount of money. It was family. My mom cut me off harshly. But we have already seen that your bank account matters more to you. I looked at Brittany counting bills with a huge smile. I looked at Adam on his cell phone as if he were already looking at more expenses. I looked at my mom and Greg staring at me as if I were a stranger who had sneaked into their house. Nobody noticed. When I left the dining room, I left the cake on the table and went upstairs without it. I did not want it up there with me. I did not want to eat it alone. I sat on my bed and everything hit me all at once. However, since Greg and Brittany arrived, my mom no longer had time for me. How they applauded Brittany for everything and demanded I be grateful for the bare minimum. How I learned to make myself small so I would not be in the way. And in the midst of that, my biological dad came to mind, Stephen, my real dad, the one who left when I was 13. My mom always spoke of him with contempt, saying he was irresponsible, that he left us for another woman, that he was worthless. I grew up with anger, so much so that when he tried to reach out to me, I would not even answer him. He sent money. He sent cards, but I threw them away. My mom used to say it was all an act, that he did it to feel less guilty. That night, with a cake that nobody wanted to share, I realized something really awful. I had been alone for a long time. Before the argument about the money, before this birthday, I was already alone in that house and I got tired. I got tired of being the last option, of them making me feel like I should be thankful for having a roof and food, as if that were a favor. I got tired of seeing how others were given everything while I had to fight for crumbs. That very same night I started packing clothes, books, college stuff, my drawing materials, everything. At midnight I called my friend Aaron. Can I stay with you for a while? Just until I find a place to live. Of course, she said without thinking twice. What happened? I will tell you tomorrow. I just need to get out on Sunday morning. My parents were still asleep when I loaded the car. It was still dark and chilly out. A Honda Civic filled to the brim with my entire life. I did not leave a note. I did not say goodbye. Aaron lived in a tiny one-bedroom apartment in Hollywood. Even so, she made room for me on the couch without asking me any questions that day. Once we had coffee and toast, I spilled everything to her. The money issue, the birthday, the envelope, the humiliation. My cell phone buzzed a while later in the afternoon. A message from my mom. "Where are you?" I stared at the screen for a good while. Then I replied, "I already moved out." The response came instantly. "Okay." Just like that. Not a comeback. Not a "let's talk." Not even an "are you alright?" Just okay. As if I were a visitor who had just left and that was that. 2 weeks later I found a studio. A little room with a kitchenette and a tiny bathroom in Echo Park. It was better for my commute to work. In the morning, if I left with enough time, I would arrive in less than half an hour. If I got careless, the traffic would make me pay for it. I paid the deposit, the rent, whatever they asked of me for the lease. Rent and utilities ate up more than half my salary, but I did not care. It was mine, my key, my space. The first year was tough. I stayed for overtime whenever possible. I ate a lot of instant noodles, a lot of cheap stuff. I got used furniture, but I was at peace, happy in a way I had not felt in years. My family did not look for me. They did not invite me to anything. Christmas passed without a message. My next birthday did too. It was as if I had never existed. A few aunts called me around December asking why I did not go to dinner at my mom's house. Family stuff, I would say. Nothing serious. I did not want to go into details. How do you explain that you got erased for not paying for your stepsister's honeymoon? And then out of nowhere my dad called me. I almost did not answer because I did not have the number saved, but something made me pick up the phone. "Jenna, it is Steven. Your dad." I had not heard his voice in years. He sounded older, calmer. "I found out you had a falling out with your mom, and I wanted to know if we could meet up and talk." My first impulse was to hang up. My whole life my mom told me he was the worst, that he just left and that was it, that he did not care about me, but sitting there alone in my studio I thought, what do I have to lose? We agreed to meet at a coffee shop in Los Feliz. When he arrived, it took me a moment to recognize him. More gray hair, more wrinkles, but the eyes were the same. He ordered coffee for both of us and we sat face to face as if we were strangers. "I am sorry," he told me right away, "for everything. For leaving, for not fighting harder to be with you, for believing it when your mom said you did not want to see me." I did not even know what to answer. "I separated from your mom," he continued with a trembling voice, "but I never wanted to leave you. She made things really difficult for me. She told me that if I kept pushing, things would be worse for you, that you were mad at me and did not want anything to do with me." I swallowed hard. "I sent money. I sent cards. I asked about you, but you never replied. And I thought you truly did not want to. My mom always said it was all just for show," I said. He nodded sadly, as if he had already imagined that. "When I found out through mutual acquaintances that you had moved out of that house, that there was a huge fight, I thought maybe now we could try again. We talked for hours. He told me about his wife Vanessa, about his work. It turned out he owns a construction company and has been doing well. He told me he watched my graduation via live stream because they did not let him attend. He apologized 1,000 times. "I want to be in your life if you will let me," he said before we left. "I know I have a lot of making up to do." And the weirdest part is that I said yes. Vanessa was a shock. She was not the wicked stepmother from the stories. She was warm, witty. She truly listened to me. She remembered details. She asked me about my work, my friends, my plans, as if she actually cared. It was incredibly rare to be around an adult who did not make me feel like a nuisance. I started seeing him often. Sunday lunches, long talks. Little by little I started feeling included. When I turned 26, they threw me a surprise party. Nothing massive, just close people, but it was for me. A cake with my name on it, decorations in my favorite colors. They sang to me with enthusiasm, not out of obligation. My dad gave me an envelope, and I thought it was going to be a gift card or something like that, but inside there were keys. "It is a small house," he said quickly, seemingly nervous. 2 bedrooms. It is in a quiet gated community in Glendale, and it is already paid for. I just stared at the keys as if they were not real. "You bought me a house? You are my daughter," he said. "You deserve to have something of your own." You have already struggled way too much. I burst into tears. Not out of sadness but surprise, relief, gratitude. I did not even remember what it felt like to have someone do something for me just to see me happy. The house was perfect. Small, cozy, a backyard where some flower pots and a little table could fit, large windows, light everywhere. I spent weeks painting, organizing, buying real furniture, not just whatever kind of worked. A month later, I uploaded a photo to social media. Me standing outside the house, keys in hand. I wrote something simple. Grateful for this new beginning. That same week the phone rang while I was unpacking boxes in the kitchen. It was my mom. I was not going to answer her, but curiosity got the better of me. "Jenna, sweetie," she said with a sweet voice I had not heard from her in years. "I saw your photo. The house is very beautiful." "Thank you," I answered dryly. "I just wanted to ask you, where did you get the money for something like that?" She fired away directly. "With what you make, it is not enough. And I just worry. I do not want you getting involved in sketchy things. Not a real congratulations, not an, I am happy for you. Pure suspicion." "That is none of your business," I told her. "I am your mother," she insisted. "I am worried you might have gone into debt, or I do not know. Just tell me you are okay. We could meet up, talk. I have missed you." My throat tightened. "I do not miss you," I said. "I am doing fine without you guys." And I hung up. I was left trembling a bit, even though it angered me to admit it. My mom still knew how to shake me up. A few weeks later I was out in the patio arranging some plants when I heard voices at the entrance. I peeked out and saw my mom, Greg, Brittany, and Adam walking through the driveway as if they knew the place. Later I found out how they got the address. An aunt, one of those who supposedly minds her own business, passed it on to them according to her so we could patch things up. I went straight to the door. "What are you doing here?" I asked. They did not even give me a straight answer. I barely opened the door to speak, and they stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. I followed them, watching how they looked at everything. The new furniture, the paintings, the kitchen. Brittany with a face that mixed envy with hunger. Greg touching the counter as if it were his own. "It is nice," Greg said. "Very nice. This cost a fortune." My mom did not waste time on compliments. "How did you pay for this?" she demanded. "I know what you earn. It does not add up." "My dad gave it to me," I replied. "Calm down." My mom turned red. "That man is shameless," she said. "He abandons us and then shows up to play the hero with money." "He did not abandon me," I replied. "He separated from you. Those are two different things." Greg chimed in. "That guy betrayed his responsibilities." Betrayal. The word slipped out of me. "You guys erased me for not paying for a trip for Brittany. You guys took away my birthday present and gave it to her. You guys treated me as if I were a burden." My mom opened her mouth to reply, but Brittany stepped in quickly, as if she already had the speech rehearsed. "Look, a lot of time has passed," she said. "The important thing is that Adam and I got married last year and I am pregnant." I just kept staring at her. "I am 3 months along," she added, rubbing her belly as if wanting me to react. "Congratulations," I said without any emotion. "I guess." Brittany did not flinch. "We need a place to live," she blurted out. "Things are not going well. Adam's job is slow and we cannot afford much." "That sucks," I said. "But it is not my problem." My mom took a step toward me as if with authority. "Yes, it is your problem," she said. "You do not deserve a house like this. You should give it to Brittany and the baby." A short laugh escaped me, disbelieving. "Are you being serious?" I asked. "Why would I do that?" "Because you owe it to your family," my mom said. "You were the one who broke everything with your selfishness. Now it is your turn to fix it. Do not make us look bad, Jenna. The family knows you are doing well." "I broke it," I answered. "You emotionally kicked me out of your lives for not handing over my savings, and now you come here wanting to take my house." Greg crossed his arms. "You chose money over family," he said. "I chose to stand up for myself," I replied differently. Brittany lifted her chin. "We are not leaving until you agree to do the right thing," she said as if it were her right. I stood there looking at all of them and felt something strange. Not fear, not guilt, but exhaustion and also clarity. Get out right now, I said firmly. Do not even think about it, Greg blurted out. I pulled out my cell phone. Then I am calling 911, I said. And I will explain to them that you entered without permission and are harassing me. That actually got them moving, not fast, but they started to leave, muttering things. Brittany saying I was selfish, Greg saying I was ungrateful. My mom with that offended victim look. I locked the door and leaned against it for a second, catching my breath. Then I called my dad. They came over. I told him as soon as he answered. They want me to give them the house. They honestly believe I have to hand it over to them because Brittany is pregnant. My dad was not as surprised as I would have wanted him to be. Save everything, he told me. Messages, calls, whatever it is. If they start bothering you, we need evidence. And yes, they started. For almost a month my phone did not stop. Calls from my mom talking about obligation, about family, about what people were going to say. Messages from Brittany saying I was ruining her daughter's future. Even Adam sent voice notes saying I was cold, that I had no heart. They called me everything without severe cursing, but with venom. Selfish, greedy. You were always jealous of Brittany. You do not deserve anything good. Some messages went further, phrases insinuating that it would not be in my best interest to keep refusing. I never replied. I just saved screenshots, audio clips, call logs, everything. When it became too much, I handed it all over to the lawyer my dad hired. A week later, the lawyer sent them a very clear formal letter. He demanded they stop the harassment and cease attempting to approach my house. He warned them that if they continued, legal action would be taken for threats and harassment, and for trying to dispossess me of my property. The letter was sent via certified mail, and also by email, so there would not be any excuses about not receiving it. In less than a week it all shut down. Total silence, as if the fear of real consequences were stronger than their desire to take advantage. That was 6 months ago. I am still here in my house, working at the agency, building my life peacefully. On Sundays I eat with my dad and Vanessa. We talk about my job, about projects, about silly things, about whatever. They remember things. They ask me questions. They listen to me. It still feels strange but beautiful. From time to time I find out things through acquaintances. Brittany had her baby, a girl. My mom goes around saying I abandoned my family because I became obsessed with money. She plays the victim as if she does not know why I stopped talking to her. I do not waste my energy on that anymore. The people who matter to me know the truth. Those who do not can think whatever they want. I am 26 now, just about to turn 27. And only just now am I understanding what it is to feel valued. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had handed over that money that day. I would probably still be in the little room in the San Fernando Valley house, swallowing everything, trying not to be in the way, watching how others fulfilled their plans through my effort. But no, I am in my own house, in my own life, with people who actually want me to do well. I chose to take care of myself, and it was the best decision I could ever make. Yeah. Comment. I hope this story touched you the way it touched me. I truly believe that learning to respect yourself is one of the greatest skills we can develop. It's important to set clear boundaries with the people around us. You are allowed to choose your own peace, even if it means disappointing others. Healing becomes possible once we stop accepting less than we deserve. Taking responsibility for your happiness is a powerful step forward. Kindness toward yourself is just as important as kindness toward others. Never forget that you are worthy of a life that feels good. I hope this reminds you to keep moving toward what truly serves you. Let me know in the comments what lesson stood out to you the most. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.